Welcome to yet another Power BI tutorial from MIPE Consulting. The objective of this tutorial is to familiarize the viewers with the accessing and transformation of data residing in an SQL Server database using Power BI. The tutorial comprises two videos. The first video illustrates the import of data from an SQL Server database and creating visualizations such as a clustered column chart, a slicer, a donut visual, and a card visual. Superimposing a card visual over a donut visual is also dealt with in this video. The second video illustrates the use of direct query to access metadata from an SQL Server database and create visualizations such as a key influencers visual and a map visual. Let's begin the first video, which deals with the import of data from an SQL Server database. First of all, let's understand the difference between import and direct query. Here are the differences. In the case of import, Power BI gives you the full suite of transformation and data manipulation in the desktop. The selected files and the columns are imported into Power BI desktop. However, there's a 1 GB limit to the desktop if you plan publishing onto Power BI service. As you create or interact with a visualization, Power BI desktop uses the imported data. To see underlying data changes since the initial import or the most recent refresh, you must refresh the data, which imports the full data set again. It doesn't do an incremental refresh. However, the refreshing is restricted up to 8 times a day by setting up a scheduled refresh in the Power BI service. Direct query limits the ability to manipulate data in the desktop because you don't have a data view in the desktop. No data is imported or copied onto Power BI desktop. For relational sources, the selected tables and columns appear in the field list. As you create or interact with a visualization, Power BI desktop queries the underlying data source. So you are always viewing the current data. So no refresh is necessary because we are directly accessing SQL Server database. It's always live. The data resides in the SQL Server database. So let's proceed further. At first, we shall see how to import an SQL Server database into Power BI. For this purpose, we shall use the Wide World Importers database in the SQL Server Management Studio. Wide World Importers is a fictitious company created by Microsoft to provide a sample database that illustrates the core capabilities of SQL Server 2016. The instructions for the installation of this database is available in the following link. Let's click on this link. So this is a Microsoft documentation. This is the Wide World Importers data warehouse installation and configuration instructions. As you scroll down, you can see how to install SQL Server and the configurations, and here are the download instructions for Wide World Importers data source. So using this document, you can download the Wide World Importers database into SQL Server Management Studio. We shall now have a look at the Wide World Importers database in SQL Server Management Studio. So let's expand this and expand the tables, and you can see many tables here. We are interested in the sales.customers table and the related tables. Let's see how we can import these tables into Power BI Desktop. Open Power BI Desktop. Let's click on Get Data, and our data source is a database because we are using SQL Server database, and click on SQL Server database. Click on Connect. We have to give the SQL Server name. So let's find out the SQL Server name. So let's go back to SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio, and we can see the SQL Server name here. In order to copy that name, we can click on Connect, Database Engine, and you can see the server name desktop-n2eeshv. So let me copy this and paste it to Power BI Desktop. Database name is optional, so we are not going to do anything. Data connectivity mode, you have two options, import and direct query. At the moment, we are going to use the import option. So let's click on OK. Now the database we are going to import is Wide World Importers database. And from that, we are going to select the table that we want, which is sales.customers. Let me check this box and you can see a preview of the data here. And at the bottom, you can see select related tables. Let's understand what related tables are. You have customer ID, customer name, and then you have bill to customer ID and customer category ID, buying group ID, primary contact person ID. So many IDs here. These IDs are parts of other tables which are related to this table. So we call them the related tables. So there are a lot of related tables and we want to import all those. So we click on select related tables. Let's click on transform date. We can see that sales.customers and all the related tables have been imported. Let's have a look at the imported data. So let me click on sales.customers. We can see quite a lot of columns. All these columns may not be required. We will choose the required columns later on. We can see that the related tables are imported as columns, which are expandable. So let's click on the expandable column. Or we can choose the city name out of this. So let's deselect all the columns and choose city name. The rest of the columns we don't require. Use original column as prefixes unchecked. So let's click on OK. So we've selected city name column from that table. Now let's go to application.cities postal ID. I don't think I require any columns in this. So let me cancel this. And let's remove this column. Delivery methods, I'm not interested, so I can remove this column. Application.people, we don't need this, remove it again. Application.people, last edited by, we can remove this. Primary contact, remove this. Buying groups, we remove this too. Then sales customer categories, we need this. And let's deselect and let's select customer category name. Rest of the columns we don't require, so let me click on OK. Sales customer transactions. Let me expand this. Deselect all the columns. We need the transaction date and the transaction amount too. So we select both the columns. Rest of the columns we don't need. Click on OK. So we've got two columns, transaction date and transaction amount. The transaction amount column represents the sales made to a customer on credit and the amounts repaid by the customer. So the sales made are represented by positive values and the repayments are represented by negative values. We are interested at the moment only in the positive values. So let's keep the positive values and filter out the negative values. So let me click on filter and go to number filters and let me choose greater than. So it says filter rows, apply one or more filter condition to the rows in this table. It's a basic filter. Keep rows where transaction amount is greater than. Let's put 0 because we need all the positive values. We don't have an AND condition, so let's click on OK. We do have only positive values. Now, all the remaining related tables are not required. So we will select all of them and remove them. Right click and remove. Now we have to make a choice of which all columns we need. So let's click on choose columns. Let's deselect all columns and choose customer ID, customer name, city name, customer category name, transaction date, and transaction amount. Let's click on OK. We have all the required columns here. We've completed the transformation process. So let's click on close and apply. Now let's go back to the report view and we can see sales.customers because I've hidden all the remaining tables. Now it's time to create visualizations. We shall be looking at 4 visualizations, namely a clustered column chart, a donut chart, a slicer, and a card visual. So let's start with a clustered column chart, which in normal parlance we call as a bar chart. Let's click on this, resize it. We shall use this chart to depict the sales made over a period of time. It can be over a period of year, months, quarters, date. For that, we drag the transaction date under axis and transaction amount under values. So we can see in the year 2013, you had this much of sales. 2014, the sales is given here. This column can be renamed as sales amount instead of transaction amount. So in the tooltip, you can see sales amount. If we click on the drill down, we can see the sales amount by quarter, and you can see the sales amount by year, quarter, and month, and so on. But we are interested only in the year. In 2016, we have data only for 2 quarters. That's why the sales amount looks a bit lower. Now, let's try to format this chart a little bit. This is the format. You can click on data colors, and instead of the default color blue, you can change it to any color that you want. Let's make it pink, or let's make it this kind of blue, and so on. The title, you can change it as sales amount by year. And we can change the font color to, say, red, and we can change the alignment to center and increase the font size to, let's say, 20. And we can have a border. Let's turn the border on and maybe change the border color to, let's say, blue. Now let's go to the x-axis and y-axis. The color is okay. Maybe the text size, the size of these, we can increase. Let's say 14. The title color. So let me make it red. We can change the text size of the title. I've made it 20. Let's do the same with the y-axis too. Text size, let's make it 14. Title color, make it red. Title size, let's make it 20. And we are okay with the formatting. Maybe we can turn the data labels on, and you can see the amount on top of the bars. And we can format the data labels to red. We can increase the text size, say 14. I think this is quite illustrative. The next chart we are going to create is a slicer. Let me click on slicer, resize it a little bit. We are going to have a slicer for the date. So let's drag and drop the transaction date field here. You can see the transaction date here and the date range, and the slider can be used to change the date. We can see that as we move the slicer, the cluster chart depicts the data from 1/1/2013 to 23/8/2014. We can have a visualization for whatever period we want using the date slicer. Now let's create a donut chart. Click here. The donut chart is basically used to find out the contribution of parts to a whole. Say for instance, we have different customer categories. We want to find out to what percentage each customer category contributes to the total sales amount. Let's see how we can do that. The donut chart can be best used in conjunction with the clustered column chart. So under the legend, we drag the customer category. Details we can leave it blank for the time being because we don't want to drill down further. And under the values, we can put the transaction amount. Let's rename this column so that we don't have to change the name again and again in the visualizations. Let's rename this as sales amount. Drag and drop the sales amount under the values. So you can see that the novelty shop contributes the maximum, that is to the extent of 71.53% in terms of the sales of all these years. In case you want to change the colors, you can change it by formatting. Let's go to formatting, data colors. Say for the novelty shop, if I want to give a green, so let's click green here. The rest of the colors seem to be okay. And the shape, you can change the inner radius so that you can make the circle small or big. So let's try changing it. The default is 60, so let me keep it at 60 itself. We can do the remaining formatting as we've done for the clustered column chart. Let's change the transaction date, and you can see how the donut chart varies. You can see the values changing with the changes in the timeline. So it's quite interactive. Now, what we are going to do is create a card visual, which is this one. The card visual will represent the total sales amount based on the period. We will superimpose that within this circle so that whenever we change the date slicer, we can see the total sales amount for the period, of which these slices represent the percentage. So we can see what is the total amount and what percentage is contributed by these customer categories. Let's create a card visual. So let me resize it a little bit so that I can place the card visual here. So let's click on this. We need to resize it. In the fields, we will put the sales amount. We can see the sales amount for the total period, which is represented by the slicer. We can format this. Let's go to the format, data label. The color is black. You can change it to red. And the text size is 45. Let me make it 30. Now let me drag it and place it here, then resize this visual. So when I click outside the visual, you can see the card visual. So let's move it in such a way that it fits inside the circle. It's formatted a little bit more. The category, I can turn it off. The sales amount disappears. In the title I can turn it on, and I can give title text as sales amount, change the alignment to center, and text size increase this a little bit. Let's fit it exactly at the center. So let's go to format and say bring forward and bring to front. So we've formatted the sales amount and it appears at the center of the donut chart. When I change the date slicer, the sales amount moves and we can see the contributions made by the various customer category to this sales amount. So this visual seems to be a bit more insightful now with the card visual placed at the center. Let's say we want to find the total sales from 1/1/2013 to 31/12/2015. You can see that the total sales amount during the 3 years, 2013, 14 and 15 is 172.07 million, of which the novelty shop contributes 71.84%. The supermarket contributes 8.27%. Another interesting factor, supposing I click 2015, just this bar, you can see that area outside is masked out, only the relevant areas highlighted. So when I hover the mouse over the slice, you can see the total sales amount for the entire database is given as 71.84%, whereas the highlighted one is the one pertaining to the bar which we've selected. So for the year 2015, 25.27% of the sales was contributed by novelty shop. Similarly, if I hover the mouse over this highlighted slice, you can see that supermarket contributes 8.27% of the total sales amount in the database, whereas the highlighted amount, which represents the contribution for the year 2015, is 3.12%. In combination with a card visual, donut chart is a perfect visual for representing total sales amount and the contributions made by different categories. We shall create one more visual, which will be a clustered bar chart. And let's create a new page. Let's call it sales by category. We shall use the clustered bar chart to depict the sales over a period of time as well as sales based on category of customers. So we will have sales amount broken down in terms of the period as well as the customer category. Let's see how we can do that. Let's have values sales amount. Along the axis, let's have transaction date. Along the legend, we will have customer category. So you can see in the transaction year 2016, novelty shop had a sales amount of this much. If we want our data to be analyzed based on two parameters simultaneously, this visual comes in quite handy. Hope you found this video useful. Thank you very much. We shall see how to access an SQL Server database using Direct Query in the next video of this tutorial.